Hello, Myra. So, in your video, you mentioned, um, oh yeah, the in Snowpiercer, the poor are exploited by the elite. Sorry, by the elite, and it like had me wondering why. I know it's a movie, right? But in this in this scenario where like it could be real, it made me think like why why do the elite even need the people in the back, right? Like, was that their plan all along? Like, did it just end up that way? It was their plan all along, actually. Because in the movie, I remember Curtis mentions that um, when he, like, first got on the train, there was just a bunch of them shoved into a car, and, like, they knew that, like, those conditions back there were for the people. For some reason, why did they make that train, right? But first, were for people who were just going to be, like, the butt of the train, like just the scraps. Um, but even then, it makes me like wonder like why do they need them still alive? Like they could have ate them or something. They could have I don't know. They could have like it's a tech like train. Like they could have done many things with them. I think, and then it had me thinking that maybe the reason that they kept the people there um is like simply for one, entertainment, or two, like because they were like I think they were probably kept there and not just killed off for like more space or whatever, because they knew that eventually they were going to need need them for something, like how the kids were manually running the train underneath the floor, or how like I don't know, like maybe they did eat them. But anyways, my point is like it made me think that they thought of them so lowly that they were like, well, let's not kill them and let's use them for something, right? Instead of just killing them, because that's wasteful. So we would kill them and use them for something. And I mention this because I think that as like what's the word? As like cynical as it sounds, I think that in the real world, it's very. I think that that situation is very like applicable to real life and very easily prone to happening. Where like there is a minority group or people that are just like not seen as like friends or like humans as well, and they're seen as just like you know things that are living. I think that in the real world, like it can definitely like certain situations can happen like that. Maybe not as an extreme, like Snowpiercer, but I think that a lot of times, like people are forgotten about. Like for example, people who don't have a house, who are living on the streets. I think like a lot of people forget to have humanity in some moments, like when they're talking about the unhoused, and just how they they kind of bypass them, like they're not a human, like they're not just like us, just not under a roof. And I think in certain situations like that, like if we were to have like a you know like an outbreak or outburst of like something apocalyptic, or like I don't know, like even COVID-19, like what happened to those people? Like how were they, cared for when, something like a pandemic was happening. But yeah, sorry, I'm like kind of ranting, but it just made me think of that basically. Like I think that unfortunately, like a lot of the times, even when, someone is like hateful towards someone, they still don't just like want them dead because that's like too much or whatever. It comes out in other ways, in other hateful ways, that is just as bad, except because we're like humans and we try to be good. It's not like our immediate response to obviously just kill someone, if you know what I mean. That's like the way I'm saying it is like not great. But anyways, yeah. And then you mentioned like how District 9, the documentary style they use, definitely felt authentic, and I think that was like really good to feel like a real sense of like if you were in that situation, like how it's happening. Like even though it's a movie, filming a documentary style I think made it feel like it was real, like it was a situation that you were seeing from a documentary. And I think that can definitely provoke like more thinking and um more like, what's the word, like more relation and more like comparative, like reasoning and stuff like that. um so yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's all I have to say.